Hola mi gente, and welcome back to Janara's Kitchen. Yes, I'm wearing a fedora because today we're making a Puerto Rican classic, arroz con gandules or rice and pigeon peas. Come follow me to the kitchen so you can learn how to make this amazing recipe that's going to impress your family and friends. Okay, so at this point, if I had the ham, which I don't, I did add that to the recipe. If you go below in the comments, I did add that in the recipe. That is optional, you don't need to. I do like it to add it if I do have it. However, I don't have it today, so I'm not adding it today. So at this point, you would add the ham and let it cook down a little bit. And then you could go ahead and add the sofrito once that cooks down. I am making about 2 cups of rice today, so I added about a half a cup of sofrito. Sofrito is a mixture of some herbs and onions and garlic, peppers. If you don't know about sofrito, I will be posting that recipe later. But however, if you don't feel like making your own, you could always go and buy the Goya. I prefer the frozen Goya one that is any store you find at Walmart, anywhere you normally could find the Goya. They do have the other kind that is in one of the middle aisles of the grocery store. However, I don't care for those as much. I feel like the frozen ones are fresher than the ones that you find in the middle aisle of the grocery store. Less preservatives and everything like that. So I like to cook down the sofrito in low. I have it, every stove is a little different, so go at your own pace depending on your stove. I have it at 1.5 to 2 right now. I like to cook the sofrito. There was enough fat in the bacon, however I feel like I could add a little bit more. Again, I don't normally measure a lot. If you don't want to add the bacon, you don't. Just add the oil, any canola oil or vegetable oil that you do have, but you don't want it to dry out, so that's why you want it low, so that it cooks down with the sofrito and the bacon. I like to cook it for a little bit. Right now I'm gonna lower it to 1, as a matter of fact. In your stove, it could be the lowest setting. You could add at the same time as the sofrito to cook at the same time the sauce, tomato sauce. There's no wrong or right way to do this. Honestly, everybody makes it a little bit different. Just kind of go at your own pace. I'm going to tell you what I normally do, but again, I don't know that I always do it exactly the same every single time. The key to making the rice is to make sure that you have the right amount of liquid to the rice. Otherwise, you could get a mushy rice, or you could get a very dry rice. So really, that's the most important. As far as the ingredients go, you go with whatever you have at home. If you don't have everything that I posted on this recipe, don't worry about it. If you want to add more to it, or just change the herbs and add paprika or chili powder to it, go right ahead. It's not going to hurt the recipe in any way. It's just gonna it might taste a little different than mine does, but it really doesn't, it won't hurt. The sofrito has been cooking down. I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic, which I already pre-chopped earlier. Again, I'm making 2 cups of rice today, so the recipe I'm posting is for 2 cups. If you want to make more, just double the recipe. If you end up with too much rice, don't worry, you could use it the next day for leftovers. Leftover rice is great for the next day. I'm going to go ahead and add the can of pigeon peas. You could find these at the grocery store. There's different types. There's the green ones. You don't have to get specifically this one. There's the Goya type. There's the green ones. There's the brown ones. There's different type. Again, you just want the gandules. It's the pigeon peas. I did drain the water out of it. I don't like to add that water again. If you wanted to add the water, okay, that's fine. Just make sure that you are adding the water that comes in the can into a measuring cup before you do so, because that water will be part of the water or the liquid that you are going to be cooking the rice. So if you add the can of pigeon peas or gandules at the same, and then add the liquid that I'm asking you to add, then it is definitely going to be mushy. You don't want mushy rice. I could add all the other ingredients because then I'll just let them mingle there. I add 1 to 2. I'm only making 2 cups of rice today, so I'm only adding 1 bay leaf. Then I'm having the oregano. Garlic powder. Seasoning salt. You could get this kind or the other adobo kind. It doesn't really matter. Just watch how much you put of that, because if you're using water, if you're using the chicken stock, if you're using the chicken stock that already has salt, so just watch how much you want to pour in there. I already know, just because I do this so often, that is okay, and I'm still going to be tasting it later to see if it needs more. But if just go little by little on your end, if you're not sure and you never cooked before, that way you could always add more salt. You can never take it out. Now I'm going to add some garlic powder. Onion powder. I already added garlic powder. Some cumin. And the sazon con achiote. Again, this also has salt, so again, just go low and steady with the salt. I'm going to let it sit now for maybe a minute or 2, just because I like to get some of the flavor of those pigeon peas out that will eventually get all over the rice later. Okay, now this is ready for the rice. I add the rice, and then I like to move the rice with all of that good flavor in there before I add the water or chicken stock. If you do add the water first and then the rice, it's totally fine. It's not going to hurt you. I just always do it this way. I feel like the rice gets covered with all that good flavor before I add the water to it. Okay. Stock is going in. I'm going to raise the temperature to about 6 or medium high. I move it around. With rice, it's one of those things that you don't want to overmove. You move it a little bit just to get all that incorporated. I am going to add at this point I like to always add, you don't need to do this is optional, but I like to because I feel like it adds a little bit extra oomph to my rice. About a teaspoon of white vinegar and a pinch of salt. You could do this also when you're cooking all the stuff. You don't have to do it at this point. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to move it around again. Then I'm going to add my olives. You could add as many olives as you like. My family loves olives, so I put a lot. Now you're going to let that rice start to boil at about medium to medium high. I'm putting it at 5 on my particular stove. As you can see, it's starting to boil. You leave it there until the water is almost gone. You know, not quite dry, but you want to be able to see the rice on the top. You will see this in a minute once I get back to you. Okay, everyone. Now this is about ready for me to turn it down and cover it. I don't know if you could tell in the video, but most of the water is gone and you can see the rice. So at this point, you will cover it. You will lower the heat to very low. I put mine at about 1.5. And then I put the timer for 20 minutes and let it go. Okay, the timer has gone off, and now you take a fork, not a spoon, and you fluff the rice. You want to use a fork because this helps it so it doesn't get mushy. As you could tell, the rice is almost ready. It takes about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I always check it at the 20-minute mark. I taste it. If by any chance at this point you taste it and you feel like it's a little hard, then you're welcome to add a little bit more chicken stock to it. But honestly, unless it's really hard, don't do so, because you're going to be covering it up again and let it sit there for another 5 to 10 minutes, really depending on your rice. I use the the medium grain rice. Let me try it a little bit first. Yeah, my rice is about done, almost. Another 5 minutes or so, my rice will be done. Again, if you taste it and it's hard, a little bit too hard, then go ahead and add a little bit more chicken stock. If not, if it's kind of like almost done, let it be. Just cover it back up and put the timer for another 5 minutes or so. Come back to it, taste it, and it should be all set. And that wraps it up, y'all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Please do let me know if you have any questions down below. I am free to I will be going back to those comments and answer any questions that you have. Thank you. Bye bye.